Hello and good day to everyone. Here we are for the top 10 Sega Genesis video games of all time. We're going to get the ball starting with number 10, Golden Axe. It was one of the first original Dungeons and Dragons style games that really let you go through and level up. It was a cool version to see that if I hit this hard and level up my magic to another level, then I can blast my super spell. And they gave you a few spells and levels of those spells. It was a really fun playthrough. It was one of the launch title games, and on top of being a really popular arcade game, it was one of my favorites still even today. Golden Axe.
Welcome to Joe Montana Football.
At number 9, it's Joe Montana Football, the original EA football game that inspired all the John Madden series to come after. There are a couple Joe Montana footballs, and I don't know, I just really like this one. The next ones came and you were able to play as the real players. Part 1 only had Joe Montana, and that's if you picked the 49ers. Other than that, you had 6 teams to choose from, and it was a really great handling system. That's what was the key about this, was that there were other football games before. This finally gave you one that you were able to play well. It felt good. You passed well. You got a lot of choices of plays to pick, and it was really, really good. Still love it to this day. Joe Montana Football, number 9. And that brings us to number 8, Comix Zone, one of the most visually pleasing games to come out of the Sega console, and it still to this day holds up. It's a really cool way of being tossed into a comic book and actually being put on the cells of the comic, going from cell to cell, taking out supervillains as a superhero. It's a really, really fun game. It has some extra little gimmicks where you could use your rat right there to send in and open things, and then you could turn right into your superhero mode. Really pretty game and really fun. The handling needed a little bit of work, but other than that, it was a really, really technically perfect beat 'em up, and I love it. Comix Zone, number 8. When it comes to opening intros, I think Revenge of Shinobi was probably one of the coolest. Here we are at number 7, Revenge of Shinobi. Another one of the early releases for the Sega Genesis, and it really held up through the time. You were able to do almost a Ninja Gaiden style way of fighting, and it was really pleasing. It was kind of slow, but the end result was always worth it. It was fun to go through this, see what kind of bosses were at the end, and play as this Ninja Shinobi. Very, very cool. So here we are, number 7, Revenge of the Shinobi. Number 6, it's Ecco. Once again, a very pretty, visually pleasing game from the Sega company. It's a really cool take that wasn't done at all up until this point. Yeah, sure, there were swimming levels in games. Even Mario had a swimming level, but nobody completely dedicated a game to it being completely in the ocean. And this, being tossed in as Ecco the Dolphin, was a very cool idea. You were just put out there almost kind of trying to save the ocean through the eyes of a dolphin. It had wonderful soundtrack, really, really cool. It was, to this day, if you start playing it, you can see it's laid back. Now on top of that, it's extremely hard. Though you could just cruise around in the ocean, the actual difficulty to beat the game made it that much more fun to play and try to get through this. So number 6, really, really good, strong spot, Ecco the Dolphin. Now, I feel this game was really underrated. Number 5, Rocket Knight Adventures. This crazy side-scrolling beat-em-up arcade-style game was really fun. I think they took the bosses and the characters to a whole nother level. On top of you could do the rocket boost from Rocket himself. That was, a nice little extra bonus move for these earlier video games, and it really made you feel like you were playing one of those old school arcade beat 'em ups, which I really love. They're some of my favorites. Rocket Knight did come out as Sparkster on the SNES, but I think the Genesis version was a little crisper and a little nicer. So here we are, number 5, Rocket Knight Adventures. Bringing up the 4th spot is Aladdin. Sometimes the makers at Disney Interactive really hit it on the mark. Sometimes they just push them out quick, but Aladdin was really well done. You could tell a video game developer who loved making video games made this game. The animations were cool. The movement of Aladdin actually flowed and was pretty. It had a great feeling as you played this game, and it was a challenge that was acceptable. Like, yes, I will try to get through this. It wasn't just a basic kid game like they hold your hand and put you through like a lot of Disney games do. Aladdin actually had a challenge that was sustainable for a real video game player. On top of it was cool. Look at those bosses, the little enemies, how you flew on the carpet. And once you see the boss at the end, holy cow, they really threw a ton of great animation in to make Aladdin look wonderful. So here we are at number 4, Aladdin. Going back to some of the old beat 'em up, it's one of my favorites, Streets of Rage 2. The original Streets of Rage was really good, but part 2 gave you the addition of a couple extra characters like Skate and Blaze, I think her name was. But yeah, it was great. I loved playing as the roller skate guy. I loved going through this. It was a 2-player game, so me and my brother were able to play together and not fight because we weren't playing against each other. We were going for one mission to beat Streets of Rage 2, and it's still great. Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's one of the prettier beat 'em ups you can get, and it handled and flowed, and it didn't punish you for using your special move. I hate that. Why do you always take my power away when I'm using my special move? Come on, can't I just do it? Streets of Rage. It was really up there. One of the best beat 'em ups you could get, and Sega brought it. Number 3. Ooh, and a nice number 2 spot is Mortal Kombat 2. Yeah, this came out on other systems, but Sega never held back with the blood to really give you the mature, original version that you got at the arcade. It was a very close representation. They were still using real actors to cast for the fighters in the game, and I think that showed through. I wish it was something people did today instead of completely relying on CG. You can see that this game, Mortal Kombat 2, really looked smooth and it had a great feel. I mean, look how the guy was coming in. It's beautiful. It had the Pong code if you ever wanted to play that, and a couple extra little additions of secret codes you could put in. On top of the introduction of Shao Kahn, who ended up being a bad guy for quite a bit. Here we are, number 2, Mortal Kombat 2. And here's where we like to take a minute for the honorable mentions. Games that were really good but just not quite good enough to make the top 10 list. And for the number 1 Sega Genesis game of all time, ladies and gentlemen, It is nothing other than Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I don't think this is going to surprise anyone. Though there were other Sonic titles, Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 1, Sonic 2 was really great. It was like they took everything from part 1, made it better, and then gave you the addition of Tails, who was such a complimentary character, it fit well. Nobody challenged Tails being in there. We were like, yes, you belong, sir, and welcome. It was a great, fast-paced game that gave you another addition of a tuba first-person running sequence that came in the game that was really, really fun. On top of the bosses were hooked up, and the two-player action was added in, so you could finally play with your brother or your best friend. It's a really, really great game with a really good soundtrack, and it's still fun to this day. Greatest game for the Sega Genesis, without question, is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So there you have it. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to comment, like, and share. Let me know if you think I did a good job or if you think I completely got it wrong. We're getting really excited about all these videos that are popping out, and we can't wait to bring more for you. So please stay tuned, and we look forward to seeing you again. Bye-bye.